Hi there, this is Kenny with EquiSpirit Toys and Tools. The reason for this video is we have questions sometimes regarding the inflation and other aspects of the ball that we just wanted to go ahead and cover real quick. One of those being, how do I inflate the ball? Basically, all you need is a pump. This is a dual action pump, and this is great to have on hand, even if you have a compressor. Because if you're out someplace and you need to add a little air, this is very convenient. It's called a dual action because it pushes air both on the up and the downstroke. Now, the type of tip I have in this is a cone-shaped tip. What that's going to do is fit into the orifice of the ball. And these do pretty good on staying in once you put them in. This one actually has a couple little barbs on it. I think this one I picked up at a Walmart or something for probably about 10 bucks, somewhere in there. So that's one way you can inflate the ball. The other way is if you do it with a compressor. This is an air chuck or a blower. You can see this has a cone-shaped tip on the end of it. These work pretty good. They're fast. You do have to be a little more cautious. You'll notice that in the directions and everything that we have, there are warnings about air it up a little bit, let it set a couple of seconds, and then start airing it up again. The reason is that bladder is much like a balloon. So it stretches on the first time you inflate it. So what you want to do the first time you inflate it, you want to give it that time to just catch up. We're not talking an extreme amount of time or anything, just a couple of seconds, let it rest, then start airing it up again. So when you get your ball, what you're going to have is the FAQs. There's 3 pages here, and instructions, and it just answers some, general questions. So the size of balls we have are 40-inch. This is a 40-inch bladder. This is a 25-inch bladder. One of the biggest questions we always get is, do I have the right bladder? Because the ball is really tight before it fills the entire cover. But just like I was saying, it's like a balloon, so it's going to stretch a lot. So trust me, there's a big difference in the size of bladders. So I have yet to mix one up. Knock on wood. So then your cover is going to be in a plastic bag. This is a 25-inch cover. This is a 40-inch cover for the grab and toss. This is a standard ball without the tabs. So let's just step through this real quick. Obviously, you want to take the cover out. What you're going to locate on the cover is the Velcro opening that the bladder goes into. And that would be right here. Next, what we're going to do, and this is covered in the instructions also, but it may be a little confusing to some people. But basically, you take the bladder like this. Here's the plug that is already inside the bladder. Take that out. The best way to do this is grab where the plug goes in and pull the bladder like this. You're just stretching it out. It almost looks like a taco. You're just going to take that, fold it over. Because the opening on the cover is not really huge, you want to take it and just kind of roll it up, almost like a burrito or a taco. Depends on your preference. So, the end that the plug goes in is going to go in last. You simply just line it up. And this is why you have to fold it a little bit. Okay, so it's pretty much in. I'm going to grab where the plug goes in. And I'm just going to kind of shake this out a little bit. Maybe open the bladder up a little bit inside. Okay, we're ready to inflate. So, in the interest of just speed, I'm going to go ahead and use a compressor. Again, with that cone-shaped tip, okay, so there's our opening for the ball, the bladder part. Basically, I'm just going to take that cone-shaped tip, put it inside, start airing it up. I'm going to pause this for just a second. Okay, so I paused that for just a couple of seconds because I wanted to readjust things a little bit. One of the most important things when you're doing this, make sure you're keeping that plug or the opening of the ball, the inner ball, in line with that Velcro opening. That's very important because it's a little hard to get a plug in if that shifts over too much. Oh, ah. Okay, I've only been doing this for maybe about 3 or 4 minutes, and you can see that the 25 inch is getting up there. Now this is when people look at it and they say, well, I don't know if I have the right bladder because it's starting to get tight. As you can see, it still has plenty of give. It's going to be fine. Now if I have to adjust where the opening is on the bladder to the outside cover, I just kind of jiggle it a little bit. You can kind of use this as leverage, you know, the blower, and just make sure that it's staying lined up. So if you see exactly here, it may be hard to see on this video, but you can see I cannot pinch the material. Ideally, that's where you want to be. Now when you're doing a 40 inch, obviously it's a lot bigger, a lot more volume, it takes a little more time. So I don't want to see those seams like being stressed out too much. I want to make sure I'm still able to close this Velcro. So what I'm going to do is I've got the plug here. I'm going to go ahead and take out my air chuck. Then we want to make sure we push that plug all the way in. Okay? So you can see that the Velcro, it's not overly stressed out. It's pretty straightforward. You just want to get it to where sometimes it folds in there a little bit. You got to get it to flatten out. But once you get it to flatten out, then you go ahead and close the Velcro. And your EquiSpirit ball is good to go. If you guys ever have any questions about inflation or anything else, feel free to give us a call or email us. We're happy to be here to answer your questions. For now, thank you very much for your interest in EquiSpirit Toys and Tools. And Lisa and I thank you for your purchase.